Oh, come on, like, listen, I know people like love to hate on the success of AJ, and let's be honest, who has a resume like Anthony Joshua in heavyweight boxing? It's not even comparable. You want to talk about Tyson Fury's resume? It's 2 fights, or 2 fighters. It's Vladimir Klitschko and it's Deontay Wilder, who might not even be that good.
Anthony Joshua focusing on combination punching for Oleksandr Usyk fight. Anthony Joshua is putting his focus on trimming down in weight and working on combination punching to ready himself to defend his IBF, WBA and WBO heavyweight titles against former undisputed cruiserweight champion Oleksandr Usyk on September 25. Joshua's combination punching may come in handy in this fight because Usyk is excellent defending against single punches thrown from sluggers like him. Follow at Boxing News 24. Usyk, 18-0, 13 kos, will be a much smaller man than the 6'6", 245 pounds behemoth Joshua, 24-1, 22 kos, but he's got the stamina, boxing IQ, and enough power to knock AJ out in the later rounds. Joshua, 31, wants to ensure that he doesn't gas out against the 2012 Olympic gold medalist Usyk, as he's done in several of his fights during his 8-year professional career. Hence, Joshua is trimming off muscle weight. Gassing out isn't an option for Joshua. AK versus Usyk will be headlining at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. The fight winner will be waiting on the outcome of the October 9th trilogy match between WBC champion Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Oleksandr Usyk. Anthony Joshua, perhaps more than Usyk for the moment, it's Joshua's wish to become the 4-belt undisputed heavyweight champion. So if Joshua wins this fight, he'll go after the Fury vs Wilder 3 winner in early 2022. As for Usyk, he might be content with giving Joshua a rematch should he beat him because the money would be too hard to resist. I'm looking trim for this fight. I'm fighting a guy who is a 12-round fighter, said Joshua to Sky Sports on his fight with Usyk. It would be silly of me to go in there bulky with my muscles screaming for oxygen. I've been training like a 15-round fighter in this camp, Joshua continued. Also, I practice having the ability to punch 4 times, not just once. As long as Joshua doesn't fade quickly after throwing a handful of punches, he's got an excellent shot at beating the 34-year-old Usyk on September 25. We're likely to see Joshua using the same type of movement against Usyk that we had seen him use in the rematch with Andy Ruiz Jr. in December 2019 and in his fight with former WBO heavyweight champion Joseph Parker in March 2018. Throw everything at it. Or take your time, be clever, then knock him out, said Joshua. 100%, he will be. Movement means you are never stationary to get hit, Joshua added about Usyk likely to be using a lot of movement. The jab of Joshua will be key to controlling this fight because if he can continually land those shots, he'll keep the smaller 6'3" Usyk bottled up on the outside.
As a fight fan and as a fan of Anthony Joshua, that's a good thing to hear that he's going to be working on combination punching, because that's one of the things that can give him problems in his fight with Oleksandr Usyk. Some people's style is just not built for volume punchers. They're always going to have a problem with them. Volume punchers can beat a lot of people. It's one of the things that make Vasily Lomachenko as good as he is in the ring, because he just doesn't choose to return 1 or 2. He'll return a whole combination on you, then some, if you give him the opportunity to, because he has the energy and the stamina to do it. That's what's good about combination punching. But one thing about combination punching is one thing that I've always said, for some reason, it's something that you don't want to see a lot of people do anymore. A lot of people don't throw combination punches anymore. And it's really asinine to be in a lighter weight divisions and these guys ain't throwing combination punches. For these guys to be in this lighter division, and just to be throwing those 1-2s and stuff like that, to me, it's always a lazy way of boxing. That's why if you go back and you look at the old boxing tapes, the fight feels different. It feel like you in a real fight. It's constant excitement. The way they was moving is so intense. It's more aggressive. You know, that's why I like old school fights, but not getting off subject. But combination punch is just something that, you know, people don't want to do no more, you know, and especially for a heavyweight, it is a rarity. That's one of the things that made Muhammad Ali so deadly. One of the most deadly things you can be is big and fast. You know, anybody tell you that in boxing, you know, big and fast, of course, along with the other factors, but big and fast, you know what I'm saying? Fast and mobile is definitely a problem. So you're going to see him have to implement the same kind of game plan that he did with Andy Ruiz. And because with Alexander Usyk, the longer the fight goes on, the more of the chance he has of winning because of Anthony Joshua continuous questionable stamina issue. You know, I don't know if it's something that he's got quite under control. He did pretty good in Andy Ruiz, but you know, got to see if he can keep that up. But that's going to be a problem. As far as Alexander Usyk goes in the fight with Anthony Joshua, like I said, one of the big things that he can give him a problem with is the fact that he is combination punching, you know, and you know, turning angles on Anthony Joshua and being a little bit more lateral and agile than Anthony Joshua. But I think Anthony Joshua will also come in the same way. The only thing is, I'm still waiting for Anthony Joshua to truly throw his weight around, to truly get loose in there and really get into the rhythm. Like in the Andy Ruiz fight, but just, you know, just more, I don't know, more swag to it, you know, more intent to it, more, a little bit more flow of confidence with it, you know, instead of, you know, cautious like that, you know. I mean, that's just my opinion. But Alexander Usyk will come in what they say with Vasily Lomachenko's father, Anatoly. So with that being said, one of the main game plans, you know, Anatoly's going to come up with is, of course, volume, of course, taking the angles, but also taking them into the late rounds. It was the same game plan that they put against Teofimo Lopez, although they don't want to admit it. I mean, he didn't want to really get froze up like that, but one of their main things, they was always going to take Teofimo to the later rounds, you know, because they was questioning, you know, stamina issues. You know, they know everybody know Teofimo got asthma and whatever and whatnot. So, of course, but if you're fighting Anthony Joshua, that's one of the things that you're banking on. You're going to put that in your game plan, is try to keep him in the later rounds and overwhelm him with punches, because as you've seen with Andy Ruiz, overwhelming him with punches can't throw him off and he can't get clipped. You've seen it with Andy Ruiz. You've seen it with Dylan White. Okay, so that's one of the things that they're going to be aiming for. However, on Oleksandr Usyk's side, Oleksandr Usyk is good. He's not as good as I originally thought he was, but he's pretty good. But I don't think he can withstand that lack of defense when it comes to Anthony Joshua. Alexander Usyk can get hit. He can get hit. That's one of the big things. And can he stand up to what Anthony Joshua's throwing down the pipe? That'll be the big question. But one thing's for sure, Alexander Usyk will get hit. And Anthony Joshua will crack on him because, you know, hitting Alexander Usyk isn't that hard, you know. And maybe it's just something to do with the training style, because I said the same thing really about Lomachenko. He has pretty good defense, but it's not all that. You can hit Lomo too. You know what I'm saying? He's just too busy and too fluent and turn too many angles on you for you to even get the chance. You overwhelmed with movement. You too busy watching what he doing. You know, so, but when it comes to that, it will be a problem for Anthony Joshua. And one of my main things is he'll come in with that, you know, the old 1-2, you know, kind of thing. And which is nothing wrong with it. You know, that's the basics. But for a volume puncher, he's going to be coming at you, you know what I'm saying, tenfold every time. That's the same thing that Jamel Charlo, that's the problem that he had with Castaño. You know what I'm saying? Castaño was a volume puncher. He wasn't prepared for that Derrick James style, that 1-2 sit and plant. it could be effective. If it can be effective, if you know what I mean. It's effective if you can get it off, but if you don't get it off and you got 2 or 3 and 4 or 5 punches coming back at your ass, and you just ain't conditioned to throw like that, I mean, you know, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to turn out in the fight. So that's one of the good things about hearing that Anthony Joshua is working on combination punching, because he is going to try to outwork you. You know what I'm saying? And he is going to, you know, throw more punches than you. But, you know, Anthony Joshua's got to work that jab. And not only that, Anthony Joshua is going to, well, it's a couple ways they can go about it, but he should establish ring generalship from Jump Street. You know, from Jump Street. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead, plan it down. And the aim, I think, is, if you're Anthony Joshua's team, is to actually knock Oleksandr Usyk out. I don't think you want to go the distance with Oleksandr Usyk unless you really want to box with him. Unless you really want to prove that you're, you know what I'm saying, a better boxer. Since people praise about, you know, Oleksandr Usyk's boxing, you know, Anthony Joshua, he might want to steal that. You know what I'm saying? He might want to steal that compliment, you know? So, I mean, it ain't no telling, but that's one of the good signs about this. And that's my thoughts on it. And I'm out.